Hello Aquarius, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy, and apparently Larry. He came in right as I was about to get started. He smells like dirt and worms. I don't know what, you have nothing to play with there. There's nothing there. You smell like dirt and worms, baby. It's been raining and he's been out in his playpen. And you're all wet and yucky. I love you though. I do love you. Yes. Gosh, you want to say hi to Aquarius? Hello. Oh, yucky. Oh, yucky. Bye, honey. Bye, Larry. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, dear. Okay. Hi, Aquarius. How you doing? Okay, so we're going to do a reading. What do they say, right? Like, don't work with kids and pets. Animals. Okay. So here we are. We're going to do a reading for you, my dear Aquarian, Aqua babies. This reading is inspired by the actual reading that I did last week for the members live, and we wanted to see what their dreams were telling them. But what I'm going to do with this one for you guys this week for each of the zodiacs is I'm going to find out what your spirit guides have been trying to tell you. What have your spirit guides been trying to tell you? And so I'm going to ask what the obvious messages that your spirit guides have been trying to tell you. What is the deeper hidden message that they've been trying to convey to you? And then we're going to ask, like, where or how, like, what is the source? Where are these messages coming from, or where are they being left for you to find, like, to understand that? So I'm going to use a few different decks in that Aquarius. Just a reminder, it is a general reading. Because it's general, it may or may not resonate. If it does resonate, that's great. I'm glad we're able to connect. If it does not, hopefully the next time, I guess it's important to remember too that not every single facet of this reading may resonate with you because it is a group reading. So we're going to get started with the Shadows of the Middle Ages, and we're going to go into the Wild Unknown Archetype deck as well, and the Tarot for Aquarius. All right. The obvious message, the hidden message with these two decks, with this deck for Aquarius. What's the obvious message? Wow. Responsibilities. Divine path. Perhaps, it is perhaps something to do with where you feel like you have some type of obligation. It's like some type of obligation. It does, it's one of the, that's one of the heaviest cards in the deck. It does, like, it really, it's bringing across to me like obligation, and it could be like have something to do with a divine path here. What's the hidden message? Thistle, persistence. All right. Okay. There's a divine path here. It's obvious. It's obvious. You're on the divine path. The path towards your true destiny, I want to say it's kind of like, I'm seeing the, in the Energy Oracle deck, the, like your, what is that called? Your spiritual calling or whatever. It's a path. It's your spiritual path. But the hidden message here is that it involves persistence. And there might be thistles along the way. The hidden message is the thistles. The route of persistent and thistle is your divine path. That's the message that your guides have been trying to tell you. Clover, mirror, clover, tiger. This mirror card is interesting. It's almost like seeing beyond space and time. Seeing beyond space and time. When you see beyond space and time, the persistence doesn't feel like long and weighty. It doesn't feel long and weighty. But then the clover and the tiger, it's almost like luck and fighting for it, owning your luck. Maybe you find something lucky along the way. There's some sort of break for you. just honestly feels like your divine path is one that is orchestrated in a way so that most things wouldn't get to it. Most, if nothing, would get to this divine path. But you personally get the messages guiding you along this way. There's something, actually, it's really interesting, something coming through here, particularly with the mirror, like seeing beyond space and time. Synchronicities. Obligation. Wow. Where or how are these messages being left for you? Like, what's the source? Where's the strongest source for these messages when your guides are trying to communicate to you? Where do they come from? Where's this source? The ring. The ring. The obligation. $47, I believe. The infinite wheel, the connection. Whoa. Yeah. Connectedness, humility, sacred cycles. Take stock of the jewels you adorn yourself with. Watch out for rings you wear out of habit that keep you connected to the old. Obvious message, right? Something that keeps you connected. Some sort of obligation, just like a heavy obligation. And the hidden message is persistence in this. Maybe there's something that you're trying to free yourself from as well. Study images of the mandala, the unus mundus, the Ouroboros, and the medicine wheel. The ring is an image of connectedness. Rather than viewing life as linear, as a series of progressive achievements, the ring challenges us to sense the cyclical, infinite nature of our world and experiences. Beginnings and endings fall by the wayside. Yes, beyond space and time, as we practice seeing ourselves as part of the cosmic circularity of creation. For this reason, it's no surprise a ring is worn on the finger to represent eternal love that surpasses space, time, and worldly things. So much can be projected onto this archetypal image. Because it mimics the Earth's orbit around our great sun and the intimate bond between two lovers, it is the micro and macro united. This card calls us to deepen connection with ourself, other, and the world at large. Meanwhile, there may be a literal ring waiting to adorn your finger. Oh, that's interesting. Some of you, I feel like your guides, that's pretty heavy. And the cross, though, the obligation. It's almost like to fulfill a divine purpose, connection, possibly relationship. It's a path. And it's not so much the start to the beginning. No, the start to the beginning. Isn't that interesting, right? I mean, that's how it would want to be seen. I wanted to say the start to the end. I'm finding this fascinating because the energy that I'm picking up here reminds me of a very fascinating synchronicity that I experienced last night. And yesterday, as I'm recording this, was September the 22nd. And it's an interesting date, and my little pride of animals and child here, that is the day that Larry came to us from Egypt. He lent the cat, who you just saw. It was his 2-year anniversary. So September the 2nd is a significant date for us. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, and many of you know I've been watching Lost for I don't know, maybe, I don't even know how long now. A couple, 3 weeks or 4, I don't know, could be a month. I lose track of time. And then I stopped watching it for a bit. You can only binge shit for so long. You need an appetite for something different. And so I came back to it again last night, and I was going towards the end, I believe, of the 2nd season. And it was quite interesting because it was the episode where Locke and, anyways, I can't. Starts with a D, his name. I can't remember. Anyways, they put together the pieces of the puzzle in terms of space and time, that putting together situations that had occurred to both of them, right? And then linking the date up. The day the plane crashed in the air was the day, I don't remember remembering his name. Anyways, the other individual decided not to push the button on the computer anymore. This button was supposed to stop something from self-destructing, but he didn't believe it anymore. He thought this was crazy and he was fed up with it. But it caused like some sort of electromagnetic occurrence to... Anyway, I don't quite understand it, but it caused the plane to crash. And then they got this paperwork, and he was looking at it, and it was the date. And he said that's when it was a system failure on the computer because he didn't push the button. The system failure. There's something about the dates for you. There's dates here. And there might be a significant date. I'm bringing this around to you. There might be a significant date to you in the future that will be linked to the past, is where I feel like, particularly, like I was starting to feel that vibe in these cards, but this really brought that out. And I'm saying that because when they looked at the paperwork for when they had the system failure and when the plane crashed, it was September 22nd, 2004. And I was sitting there and he said that. He said, look, it's 9/22/04. When did the plane crash? Oh, September 22nd. I sat there and I thought, today's September 22nd. And I'm watching this and they're talking about it. I thought, whoa, that's crazy. And then I thought to myself, well, September 22nd is very significant to me right now because that's when Larry came into our life. But yet, 20 years ago, right, there was no significance to it. So I feel like there's something here about a path. There's something incredibly significant for you. In the future, Aquarius, you're on that path. And it's weird. It's like that. Like you're going to experience something along the way, perhaps when you get very close to reaching the destination or you're comfortable in the destination. Sort of like now, like I'm comfortable in my destination. I'm like, oh, that was really weird. I mean, I could have watched that episode 2 days ago. It wouldn't have linked up to the actual day that I was watching it. I could have postponed it and watched it tonight or tomorrow on, and it not be linked into that date. So I feel like this is about persistence, the thistle, and continuing on the path that you're on. You're going to see signs. Believe the signs. I mean, that's the whole thing that John Locke was going through with the stupid button. Everything for the island for him, honestly. It's believing in the signs. And then he believes, and then he doesn't believe anymore. And then it's like, whoa, you better believe this shit because look it. Right? So, wow. Okay. The underline is Gnosis. Gnosis? Gnosis is your underline. That's weird. I opened up to the Lover. Just opened up to that. That's not your card. But there could be something very significant for you in the future. A very strong spiritual connection with another person, with a place and time, like... Innermost knowing and mystic truths is this underlying. Contemplating the mystery. Unanswerable questions. Those who say they know, don't. Those who say they don't know, know, Wow, there's a paradox. This card relates to the riddle and the shapeshifter. All concern themselves with revealing mystic truths. You are on quite the, your guides are really trying to talk to you about something. I want to say it's obvious in terms of, you know, the challenges that you've met and what you've learned or gained through the challenges. And this could be connecting you with deeper synchronicities, realizing that there's more at play here than just the obvious. But the hidden is the persistence. The persistence is the hidden message. The strife. You could pull a thistle out. Oh, frick. If you're gardening and you're dealing with a thistle, that fricker ain't never going away. So that's also interesting. Never going away. Your spiritual journey ain't never going away. You have the King of Pentacles. For Four of Wands. And the Eight of Swords. You are going towards, well, maybe riches too. I don't know with this. The obvious message here is something that you can't see, you refuse to see. Sometimes you may think you see it, you might believe it, and then other times you may not. You may waver in this. It's definitely, I want to say, it's funny I'm using the archetype deck, because I want to say there's something about this reading that is giving me the archetype of John Locke. Like that character and that journey. And in a sense, he was, I want to say the island kind of healed and baptized him because he crashed on the island, paralyzed from the waist down, but the island healed him. Yet, right, there are persistent things that go on the island that are difficult challenges, that are part of his destiny, and how everything is interconnected. The thistle is the hidden message. That's, yeah, the persistence, the interconnected persistence perhaps as well. The King of Cups. The Queen of Wands. The Devil. What's an odd thing? It's almost like, it's weird. It's almost like seeing someone with someone else and you have no way of reaching that person. It's like looking in a mirror. It literally, like, it looks like there's two people here doing their own thing, having a good time, and then this person is watching them. Like, I can't get out of this. Also interesting. Just can't seem to leave the island. All right, you're on. I'll tell you what the message is that your guides have been trying to convey to you. You are on a path here. You cannot get off it. You've entered this path. It's a divine path. It's a choice that you made at some point down the road, the previous road. You've already made this choice. You have entered this path. It is, honestly, it feels like it takes you to good things. But there are points along this path where you will feel like that there are things that you wish and hope and desire for that feel like they are out of reach to you. There could be something that you have obliged yourself to now at this time. That's the obvious message. You can't do something because there's something that you have given your sovereignty to. There's some sort of previous obligation that you have taken on. That's the obvious message here. The hidden message, I want to say it's almost, are you watching other people gain some type of freedom here? Or will there be instances often where if you have fought for your freedom and you've gained your freedom, where your responsibility to your sort of divine path here is to be, in some ways, an object or symbol of sovereignty. And then these energies might be drawn to you persistently, asking, almost like not consciously being aware that they're asking for their own sovereignty. They likely would come to you in very unhealthy ways. But this is almost like the obligation that you have created between you and God. The messages come to you from the infinite universe and the interconnectedness that exists between you, all of us, and the universe that you have. The world. So there's a couple of ways I could convey that. I could look at this. I could interpret it. Because the cross is the obligation. And it feels like for some of you, there's an obligation here that you have taken on that might deny you other fulfillments in life. And it is to look at that. It is to look at how you have trapped yourself. That's the hidden message. And then for others of you, it does feel as though you have taken the steps that you've made decisions, executed actions based on these decisions that have now found you on a divine path that you cannot deviate from. Which in some ways is very good, because it does stop you from doing things that are not for your highest good. But it might, in some ways, feel a little bit limited. I do feel like there is an ending to something significant for even possibly a new type of obligation in the future. It's like your future talks to you now. God, that's weird. It is. It really is something. The energy of, like, I want to call it the John Locke in here, in your reading. And in combining the experience I had with those dates, that's like this reading. I don't know what the dates are. Like, it could be... It just feels like something that, like me, like I watched Lost 20 years ago. Never thought anything of September 22nd. But then 20 years later, there I was watching it on to the date of September 22nd and thinking, it has meaning to me now, that date. Justice and the Ten of Swords. It almost feels like some sort of obligation here of endings. It almost feels as if the ending doesn't feel good. The ending feels like a betrayal. In some ways, I feel like it's recognizing how you've allowed yourself to be betrayed, how you've mostly betrayed yourself along your own path here. The greatest growth always comes from recognizing how we have allowed ourselves to be taken advantage of, how we have allowed ourselves to end up on a particular path. Yes, people can take advantage of us. Yes, things can be presented to us in a way that is not accurate to what it is. And yes, there are narcissists and sociopaths and all sorts of people to deal with. But at the end of the day, it is our responsibility to ourselves to recognize patterns, learn from it, and adjust our behaviors and our actions. This is such a deep-ass reading, Aquarius. I like the Eight of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Interesting. It's almost like refinding your heart. Reconnecting to even perhaps the deeper cosmic heart here. There you go. I'm going to go do the extended for anyone who would like to go with me. Over there in the extended, I'm going to ask, how is your ego interfering with receiving these deeper messages? And how is your higher self helping you to accept and see these higher messages? Thank you so much, Aquarius. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.